Are you going on vacation to Europe anytime soon? Well, if so, I hope you have your fingerprints ready, because now they're requiring U.S. citizens to get fingerprinted in order to enter the country. The TSA is accelerating its integration of biometric technology with a privatized screening model, aiming to transform how airport security is run in the U.S. through its screening partnership program. The agency has requested proposals from private companies that can deliver turnkey systems blending staffing, operations, and advanced tools like facial recognition-based touchless ID. Now operating at 14 major airports, the program allows enrolled travelers to bypass physical ID checks entirely with live images matched against passport or other government photo databases. The approach promises speed and efficiency while also shifting more operational control to private sector partners. The initiative reflects a broader trend towards streamlined, tech-driven checkpoints, including computed tomography scanners and automated credential authentication. While supporters tout improved passenger flow, critics voice concern over biometric normalization, opt-in clarity, and long-term federal data use. TSA insists that participation is voluntary and images are deleted within 24 hours. But the expanded private sector role, backed by a planned $5.5 billion contract, could accelerate national rollout. Programs like touchless ID foreshadow the growing infrastructure for global identity and movement control described in Revelation 13. The move towards a system where no one can buy or sell without state-approved verification becomes easier when people accept biometric tracking as routine. What begins as a voluntary convenience can in time become mandatory requirement. A quiet but steady march towards the beast system, where technology, governance, and commerce converge to monitor and regulate every aspect of daily life. This is why watchers and warriors must stay alert, discerning the difference between harmless innovation and prophetic signposts. Reclaim the Net is reporting that the Supreme Court's choice to let Mississippi enforce its new age verification law is part of a growing shift towards digital ID requirements across the internet, raising urgent concerns about privacy and censorship. By declining to block the law while legal challenges continue, the court has effectively allowed states to begin tying online activity to users' real-world identities, a move that could reshape how people access information and speak even freely online. Mississippi's HB 1126 requires social media platforms to verify a user's age before allowing them to create an account. Those under 18 must obtain parental permission. Platforms are also required to restrict access to what the state broadly labels as harmful content. For companies to comply, identity checks will be necessary, meaning users may soon need to provide government IDs or other personal documents just to post or view content on public platforms. The Supreme Court has already allowed a similar Texas law to be enforced. Justice Brett Kavanaugh, writing separately from the court's unsigned order, stated that the law is likely unconstitutional and said Net Choice had likely shown that enforcement would violate the First Amendment. Still, the court allowed the law to take effect, saying the trade group had not shown a strong enough risk of harm to justify emergency relief. Now, the larger implications of the law go far beyond youth safety. It advances the infrastructure for an internet where identity is verified at the door. This kind of system connects everything a person says, reads, or searches online to a name, a date of birth, and possibly a government ID. It increases the risk of censorship, as users may be less likely to express controversial or unpopular views if those comments are permanently tied to their legal identity. It also amplifies the risk of data exposure, since any breach could link personal data to specific online activity. Similar systems are already gaining ground in other countries. The UK has begun enforcing rules that ask users to confirm their age through ID cards, biometric scans, or credit card detail. In the meanwhile, over in Nigeria, Nigeria's centralized digital ID program, designed to streamline access to public services and financial systems, is facing a major credibility crisis. Reports allege that insiders at the National Identity Management Commission have been selling citizens' personal data on the open market, The comprised information reportedly includes national identification numbers, or NINs, bank verification numbers, and photographs, details that can unlock sensitive services and bank accounts. Investigative journalists demonstrated that these records could be purchased using only a phone number, revealing a dangerous breach at the core of the system. The National Data Protection Commission has launched an investigation warning of steep fines for any individuals or entities that are found responsible, while past enforcement had already led to the termination of more than 100 registration partners for misconduct. With over 120 million Nigerians enrolled and the country now relying on this type of verification platform for nationwide identity checks, the exposure is immense. Centralized digital ID systems like Nigeria's create the very infrastructure that Revelation warns will one day be used for economic and social control under the beast system. By tying financial access, government services, and even biometric data to a single identity profile, such systems form a chokehold where access to life's necessities can be granted or revoked at the flip of a switch. So while today's systems may be marketed as convenience and efficiency, they are conditioning populations to accept the loss of privacy, the centralization of power, and the idea that identity verification is mandatory for participation in daily life, laying yet another brick in the road toward the prophesied global control grid. In the meantime, over in Germany, despite not backing down over arresting citizens for posts on social media, German officials have rejected accusations from a recent U.S. human rights report that accused the country of cracking down on free speech. But the discontent is growing both within Germany's borders and among its political leadership. The U.S. State Department criticized Berlin's handling of open discourse, suggesting that German authorities were restricting speech. Across the country, stories continue to emerge of politicians turning citizens over to law enforcement for voicing opinions online. In one case, a 64-year-old man was fined $962 after police raided his home over a meme that labeled then Economy Minister Robert Habeck as a professional idiot. Similar episodes have raised debate about whether government-backed efforts to police hate speech are being used to suppress political opposition and dissent. Meanwhile, plaintiff Benjamin Jankowski filed a class action complaint against Home Depot on August 1st in Illinois federal court, alleging violations of state privacy laws. He alleges that Home Depot has been collecting biometric data from customers without their consent, which is a violation of the Illinois Biometric Information Privacy Act. BIPA, enacted by the Illinois legislature, regulates the collection, use, and storage of biometric identifiers such as facial scans. It requires private entities to develop publicly available written policies for retaining and destroying biometric data and to obtain informed written consent from individuals before collecting their biometric information. According to information in the lawsuit, Home Depot has been using facial recognition technology in its stores to collect customers' facial identity. The company reportedly announced in August 2023 that it had begun using computer vision in its stores, a type of artificial intelligence that uses machine learning to derive information from digital images and videos. So by May 2024, Home Depot had expanded its use of the technology to help mitigate theft at self-checkout stations. According to the lawsuit, the plaintiff alleges that Home Depot's use of facial recognition technology violates BIPA because the company did not make its retention policies publicly available and did not obtain customers' informed written consent before collecting their biometric data. In the meantime, over in the UK, Reclaim the Net is reporting that you've probably gathered that Britain has developed a bit of crush on surveillance. Not the kind you might associate with espionage thrillers or Cold War paranoia, but a distinctly modern version that looks suspiciously like a white van parked near your local grocery store, loaded with more cameras than a Hollywood red carpet. This time, the government has taken things a step further, and if you're in Greater Manchester, West Yorkshire, or a few other lucky zip codes, you might be able to get your own mobile facial recognition unit. Yes, the Home Office has given the green light to a national fleet of surveillance vans, 10 of them, decked out with live facial recognition LFR technology. Think of them as ice cream trucks for the surveillance state. Except instead of handing out ice cream cones, they're quietly checking whether your face matches someone on a police watch list. Greater Manchester, West Yorkshire, Bedfordshire, Sussex, Thomas Valley, and Hampshire will now have the pleasure of deploying these biometric buses. And if you're feeling left out, don't worry. They're bound to expand further once the government remembers the rest of the map. What about in Washington, D.C.? Well, President Trump's newly declared crime emergency sets the stage for unprecedented integration between the military and federal law enforcement, complete with advanced surveillance systems once reserved for overseas battlefields. This move expands cooperation between the D.C. National Guard, federal agencies like the FBI and ICE, and newly federalized D.C. police force, enabling the use of aerial spy platforms, cell site simulators, AI-powered analytics, and facial recognition. With emergency powers in place, local oversight may be bypassed entirely, giving federal forces the freedom to deploy technologies that can identify, track, and map entire networks of people with little transparency or accountability. These developments echo the Bible's warnings about an end-time system of total surveillance and control. Every new advance in AI-driven surveillance, centralized data collection, and real-time tracking moves us closer to this kind of global infrastructure that could be co-opted for that very purpose. This isn't just a political shift. It's another brick laid in the road towards the beast system. So it's pretty obvious that we have seen an increase in surveillance and censorship in these last days. And during the tribulation period, it's only going to get worse when the Antichrist is in power, because he's going to expect, no matter who you are, no matter what position you hold, no matter what age you are, to receive a mark on your right hand or on your forehead. And without it, you're not going to be able to work. You're not going to be able to buy your groceries. You're not going to be able to sell your car or sell your house. Essentially, people in those days will need this mark to be a part of society. And there's going to be a lot of people who believe in Jesus Christ that are not going to take the mark because they know that it will separate them from him forever. And that's in Revelation chapter 14. But he's going to track people, especially after the rapture. He's going to want to know who's here and who isn't here. So what we're seeing right now with this surveillance, this censorship, I believe it's sort of a setup or a precursor per se for those days. But definitely signs of the times. And with that said, I would like to move along and talk about scientists who are sounding the alarm about asteroids that they think can hit our planet one day and potentially wipe out an entire city. An asteroid is the most likely reason the dinosaurs went extinct. But could something similar happen to us? A new study has compared the likelihood of a devastating asteroid impact to other causes of perishing, revealing some surprising results about our chances of being struck in our lifetime. The research, set to be published in the Planetary Science Journal, aims to put these cosmic risks into a clearer perspective and highlight the importance of planetary defense initiatives. So what are the odds of this asteroid slamming into Earth? Physicist Professor Carrie Nugent of the Olin College of Engineering in Massachusetts and her colleagues simulated the orbits of 5 million near-Earth objects, or NEOs, with diameters greater than 140 meters. By tracking potential Earth impacts over 150 years, they were able to calculate the frequency of such events. The authors found that the chance of an asteroid greater than 140 meters hitting the Earth is more likely than both the chance of an individual being struck by lightning or attacked by a coyote. Analysis also revealed that the estimated impact frequency for NEOs other than 140 meters is about 1 every 11,000 years. According to the researchers, the work provides a framework for policymakers to prioritize planetary defense and encourage funding for asteroid detection and deflection missions if need be. So if these scientists would just go to the Word of God, they would see that we are definitely going to have some stars falling from heaven, whether it's an asteroid or a comet. But we find out in Revelation chapter 8, verses 7 through 11, God says, "The first angel sounded, and there followed hail and fire mingled with blood, and they were cast upon the earth. And a third part of the trees was burnt up, and all the green grass was burnt up. And the second angel sounded, and as it were a great mountain burning with fire was cast into the sea, and a third part of the sea became blood. and a third part of the creatures which were in the sea and had life died, and a third part of the ships were destroyed. Verse 10, and the third angel sounded, and there fell a great star from heaven, burning as it were a lamp, and it fell upon a third part of the rivers, and upon the fountain of waters, and the name of the star is called Wormwood, and a third part of the waters became wormwood, and many men died of the waters because they were made bitter. So we see right here that there are going to be stars falling from heaven a lot sooner than they're anticipating. So although we haven't seen an event like this in our lifetime, it's going to happen during the tribulation period. Whatever can be shaken in those days will be shaken. And we're seeing precursors of that right now. We're seeing larger earthquakes and they're coming closer together. We're seeing more volcanic activity like we've never seen before. We're seeing more landslides, more sinkholes. It's all coming together just as Jesus said it would. He also said in Luke that when you begin to see these things come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh. And that day is fast approaching. But with that said, those are your headlines for today. I'd love to hear from all of you, so please do leave your comments below this video. When you have a free moment, come and visit me on my social media pages, as well as my website at www.cww7news.com. All right, everybody, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, God bless and stay safe.